are rolling. Hey y'all. Listen, I believe this is going to be the most legendary, the most exciting, extraordinary interviews that I've ever done. The most influential person in my life. He is a visionary. He is an entrepreneur. He is a shapeshifter. He is a techie. He is all of the
Whitney, where's
above.
my wallet so I can give you the money?
Stop. My daddy, y'all. Welcome. Woo!
My daddy loves you so much.
Guys, I really wanted to do this interview because it gives you insight on who I am. It also gives you an understanding of who my dad is and what he does. Listen, this man is such a genius. And so I really want to just dive into it, Dad. Look, he's messing with the baby. Like,
Mellow is
okay, first of all,
I've never seen this little thing right here. She's this big, y'all. She's like this big. And she's over there and looking at me like this and saying, "You doing good."
No, she heard him talk about that money. He said, "Oh, okay." I want to hop right into it. Dad, give me and give my people, because these are my people. I'm giving them access, okay? Mm-hmm. Give me some perspective on your growing up. How do you view your childhood and your upbringing?
Interesting, wasn't it? Well, my upbringing was middle class. We Grandma and Papa, they worked at a very nice place, McDonnell Douglas. Mm-hmm. Made very good money. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. That's the first time I ever seen like $2,000 on a check. One of the checks. It's like, what the heck is going on here? Oh, robbing this place. But what happened is that we had a very, very middle class upbringing.
Mm-hmm. I remember you saying that you guys had the nicest cars in the lot.
Oh man, let me tell you about
driveway.
I'll tell y'all about this. This car that we had was called a 98. One of them was called a 98. And we had this big old thing. If y'all pull up back in that time, was I don't want to tell y'all the year because I'm aging myself. But this was a 98 is a big freaking car. I'm talking about this thing is humongous. Mm-hmm. And Pawpaw put these chrome wheels on it at the time. And man, it was green. And it was the best looking car going through the neighborhood. Everybody was like, man, you know what? Their household, man, what the heck y'all doing up there? Because that's the only time when you want your parents to take you to school. Yeah. We wanted Pawpaw and Grandma to take us to school in that car.
Listen,
this car was so good.
A lot of my friends, a lot of you all know my dad for, the nice cars, the nice vehicles.
That's why
he doesn't, they're like toys to him, right?
That's why I got it. Yeah.
But it's because my papa really, really he loved bikes. And Dad, you used to drive motorcycles.
Yeah,
you used to ride motorcycles too.
Papa
Dad used to do, you used to have your CDL. Do you still have your CDL?
Yeah, I'll never get rid of my CDL. Like, I used to drive tractor trailers, and I used to teach people how to drive tractor trailers in the little competitions and stuff. I'd go through with this big, huge 53-foot truck and go through the little slalom and come back with the thing, So I used to drive that thing.
When you guys see us in those RVs and things of that nature, it's because Dad and my papa, they have the license to ride those big vehicles everywhere. That is super cool, Dad. And so were you the only child? Let the people know how many siblings you have, and how was that being in a household with that many siblings, brothers to be exact? How many siblings?
It was obviously it was 4 outside of me, so it's 5 total. And it was the best thing in the world. We wouldn't have it no other way. Simply because when you have brothers like you all, sisters, keep everybody together no matter what. But when you have brothers, you can always let stuff fall off each other. And you have someone that you can always look at, like Uncle Nevin. We always looked at him because he was the oldest of where we had to go. You know, coming up, it was like I used to hate going to school until your dad, tell Uncle Nevin would be going, and I see him in a class, and I'd be like, okay, cool, it'll work. And then me and Vic would be in the same class, and everything would work out that way. Whatever the case may be. But we was in the same classroom. So what happened is that it was perfect. It was so perfect.
Don't skip over the good stuff.
I know, I'm not. He got put back, and your uncle never got put back. Yeah, both of them, they like you dumb as hell. But no, they're not.
They have minds of their own.
I know,
but
they got put back. Me and Uncle Vic was in the same grade, and that's why that happened. And as well as Uncle Nevin was in a grade right ahead of us. So it was perfect because I would watch how he did things, and then when they put me and Uncle Vic in the same classes, I was always the scary one coming up, scary as the middle one. So I needed that. I need to be around them
for sure
for that, So and that's what made it work out for me. I loved it. But other than that, growing up with brothers, it couldn't have been better. We did some of everything.
Yeah.
I was more of the quiet one, but Uncle Nevin and man, they always it was always something going on. Well, a fight or something, in the neighborhood. It's like, man, me and Uncle Vic will be playing football outside, and all we want to do is just play football. Uncle Nevin would come in, and if we playing against opposite boys or whatever, and it was just so fun finding a yard and playing football. He would come in, and he would steal the football and say he's not gonna give it back until he can run the football. So or whatever he could do. So he did what he wanted to do, and then when people get mad at him, he had started a fight with the other people. And then when he started a fight, it's like, man, come on, dude, we don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. But he would want to fight. That's what he came out there for.
And so what would you want to do?
Play football, that's it.
You just want to play football.
I just wanted to play football.
So you were very focused on what it is that you wanted to do at that age.
At that age, I just didn't like fighting. I didn't get into fighting until it was a little later. And then I grew up and I became, I don't know.
And so tell me, being the middle child, what inspired you to go into pursuing your dreams?
Well, it started off, like I said again, early on. I started playing drums. I started playing drums at church. I played football, me and Uncle Vic, and we all played football. We was very, very talented in that area. As we grew and we realized that at some point, football wasn't going to be what we wanted to be. I got hurt. I hurt my ankle in college. So I got out of that and I returned to certain things in life that wasn't. That's when you get into the troublesome part. That's when I kind of grew up.
And what age was that? Around what age did you start, getting into things?
About 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
Up in that.
Were you just exploring?
Yeah. It was more or less that I wanted money. I wanted money, and I said that always had this, I didn't want to work.
Okay. Don't. And
I
he's
didn't
laughing
want,
for a reason.
I know, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I didn't want to do that. So I got into things that was not too, back then it was cool, but back today it's really corny. So it was, I did that and I made a lot of money, but it was like I was the person who was, everybody looked to. But they know, I go back. That era taught me so much because doing stuff from the street level
for sure
taught me practically everything that I do in life, even to this day. Meaning that I didn't want people to know me. I'm still that way today. I'm very private. I don't let people into my circle. It takes a long time before you can get into my circle.
Sure.
So what happens is that with that era, it taught me, okay, I don't want people at the lower level to know me if I'm going to do this. So what I did was I saved up a certain amount of money, got a certain amount of money, and I started dealing with, the the suppliers so much, and we talking about. And listen, we talking. No, we talking. We right now we talking about food. We talking about just some food. Just think about it like that. Food. We talking about plants and food and how you grow your food. So I started talking to the supply, which was the head people. Nobody was able to talk to them. They kept their circle small. So then what I did was I built my system at that particular time to where only person that would be around me was one person. That's it. And that person will have a few people under them, and they will go out and build teams, but no one ever knew me. And I kept it that way. And to this day, no matter what I do in life, I'm very private, and I keep that same system. I never want a lot of people to know who I am. If something happens, there's only one person that know.
For sure.
So basically, we have to dust that motherfucker off.
No, stop. Listen, stop.
So I knew who to go to. No, but you get it. Again, we talking about food and we talking about plants. There's so much healthy food out there.
No, Daddy, this is very interesting. Not a lot of people want to work, right? There's tons of people in the world that don't want to work. But there's got to be something inside of you to say, listen, I'm not going to work, and I'm actually going to make my money doing something else. And so that mentality is really what I want to dive into. Do you feel like you learned about yourself when you stepped into that space? Is that something that you just picked up along the way, or is that something that you were introduced to by somebody? Were you influenced or inspired by somebody before stepping into that
Great
space?
question, Whitney, because you're teaching me about myself right now, and that is, I've always been the guerrilla style person. I learned it myself. I would
Put that back, boo.
put it up there, boo.
Don't do that.
I'll give you the phone in a minute, okay? This is what happens, y'all. In our family, the little ones come first, everybody else is second. That's the way it is. You want to come to Poppy?
Go, Poppy.
All right. So what happened is, Whitney, is that I taught myself everything. I always have. I didn't want to, but that's the world that I was in because I always wanted to. I never wanted to bring people into my circle. So if you don't want people in your circle, then you got to teach yourself.
Right,
you got to learn yourself. So everything I did, I applied that. So what I did was, in that type of era, I created this myself. And it comes from, I just didn't want people knowing me. I just didn't want a circle full of everybody. I watched guys back in the day, and I watch them and I say, well, you guys riding around the streets and all these, low-level people know you and everything. What kind of seriousness are y'all doing? You asking to be caught in a world that was crazy.
For sure.
I could be literally walking around, folks, and they wouldn't know. They would look at me as the smelly guy. But if you look at that and you go from there, I applied it when I raised you all from babies, and we came up here, and I said, well, I gotta find a new hustle, and that hustle became like, cell phones, computers, and stuff like that. So, and I applied that same technique to that. I didn't like to be on the street selling no computers or phone. I would buy from people and they would whatever. I didn't like that. So what I did was I saved my coins and I got a certain amount of money and I started talking to the supplier. At that point, the supplier and me and one other person would only know me. Those only people that knew each other. And then everybody else would sell the material or put it out. This was before you had like your Amazons and all these. So I applied that same technique. The same system. So I would pay the supplier for my product. And then I would make sure this one person got it to everybody up under them into the streets. And it sold like that. So everything I do, even in technology, anything I do, everything is applied that way. If y'all know me now as a person who I just don't like people in my circle. You can't come in that circle unless it takes time, over time. And once you're in that circle, it's almost hell to get out.
No, for
because
sure.
I'm with you.
For sure.
100%.
Loyal for sure.
Like people always say to you, your dad is, what's wrong with your dad? He don't
so isolated.
Yeah.
But it's like this contrast, because you are isolated, you are to yourself, but then every move that you make is extravagant.
Yeah.
My dad in St. Louis, if you don't know, we were born in St. Louis. We're all from St. Louis. When he was in St. Louis, if he seen a stadium, if he seen these big, huge buildings that were empty, he wanted to rent it out and do something there, right?
Yeah.
And so you did extravagant things, but you were very isolated and secluded.
And I'll tell you where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
Where that comes from is the fact that when I started doing this, my mentality was, when I saw that I could make, hundreds of thousands of dollars doing crazy, whatever it was, I felt that I could do anything in this world.
Yeah.
It was nothing I couldn't do. So what happened is that you're mentioning about when we was in St. Louis, and I did a sitcom.
Yeah.
If I saw it, I felt that I could do it. Nothing made your father afraid. I'm not afraid to do anything. I feel that I could learn it, and it got me in trouble a lot of the times, because I would go out and just buy all the equipment and do everything myself, opposed to going to school to learn it from the people and going through the processes to where I can now have a degree and go and work for the local channels, making $200,000. But I had that money. So I felt like, what do I need that for? And I just always, so that stepped in my way. I was stepping on my own feet.
It was your access to that much money at an early age that opened you up to no limits.
Yeah.
Wow, Dad.
That's exactly what happened.
A lot of people kind of get stuck in their hometown. You decided after I came into the world to move to Maryland. That's on the opposite side of the world. What influenced you to do that?
Well, what influenced me to do that is that, first of all, your uncles was out here. And I would come in and visit, and outside of me doing things, but I was doing things on a selfish basis, me doing it myself. When I came out here, my Uncle Bunchy, Uncle Longwood, and Uncle Ducky.
Side note, sidebar. These are the coolest cats you will ever know in the world, the best. A lot of that mentality is embedded through generations, and
it's the Byrd flavor.
The genes.
It's the genes. So what happened was that with them, they owned a trucking company, and I've never seen that in St. Louis. I've never seen, I just say it, black people outside of working for different companies. I've never seen black people prosper in the way that I saw them out here in Maryland. And I would come in and visit, and I said, wow, this is crazy. But then Uncle Ducky and Uncle Bunchy had this trucking company, which in turn they end up moving over to Airborne Express, and they got the contract for all of Maryland, DC, Virginia, to deliver the mail for Airborne Express. I saw that, and I saw them running around, and I was like, whoa.
I could move like that.
Right. So what I did was I said, man, I want to move out there and do that. So when I came out here, it was so funny. It's a great thing because I knew nothing about the trucking business, but our uncles saw us as, hey, my nephew, Stevie, come on over here. He's a supervisor today. I don't know about that. The whole moral of the story is that that's when we saw real black people who happen to be family running humongous. It had to be over 100 vans in that place. They ran that whole building.
That's crazy, Dad.
And I was like, wow.
So
that inspired me a lot on the business side, opposed to doing things on the selfish side, to where it's like I put the two together. I got a combination of both now because I watched them as well as I was doing my crazy stuff selfishly.
So you subconsciously exposed yourself to a different system.
Yeah.
through Uncle Duck, and it just kept growing.
Yeah, it just kept growing.
You had already done Born to Fly. If you haven't seen Born to Fly, listen.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Check it out. That was one of my dad's first sitcoms. It was awesome. I was actually in my mommy's stomach at that time.
And that's another reason why I was gonna say.
And Born to Fly has just always stuck with me.
And that is a good thing if y'all go and see it, because what happens is that's when you came about, I said, okay, that other stuff, I gotta
stop.
When they started to do all kind of crazy stuff out there, like digging up backyards and all this other crazy stuff to find the money, I was like, man, okay, it's not for me. And then you inspired me to say, okay, I can find other ways. I can do whatever I want to do. Mm-hmm. So you know what?
Tammy, that was actually my next question. Like having a child, how did that change? You know, how you were moving in the world. You were out here. No, were you out here already? No. Or were you still in St. Louis?
After this
Yeah,
TV
you were
show.
still in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Dad decided to move us to Maryland when I was 2. I was 3 and Adrian was 2.
I think Adrian was 1 and you was 2.
And I was 2. We got in the car, guys. We're in the back seat. And Dad drove to Maryland. This is unheard of. You were like, what, 23?
Yeah.
24, 25?
Yeah, I was in that.
He was in his 20s and he was by himself, just chasing the dream, just trying to do it. And me and Adrian in the back seat. And we drive from St. Louis all the way to Maryland. And that's really when things just started, like, going crazy, Dad. I remember you being signed at one point to Universal Music Group.
Oh, yeah. So what happened is that everything, again, that I've done was a thing to where I took as, I don't care, I just do it.
There was no limit.
My feet was planted firmly in the air. So that's what people always say.
Mm-hmm.
So if I thought it up, I did it. So what happened is that I said, when I had you and Adrian at the time, Naya was about to be here, but you and Adrian, I said was she here for Universal?
No, Naya was here, but okay. you were still driving the trucks.
I was driving trucks.
And listen, guys, he stopped because why did you stop driving the tractor trailers there?
I stopped driving tractor trailers because I would drop this one, her and Adrian off at the daycare center. Wait till you hear this. And literally, she's about as big as this one right here, right? She's a little younger than this, than little Mellow. And literally, when I dropped her off, she would watch it. She'd see. They sitting in the back seat of the car, and he was like this. And you could feel them getting nervous. I felt it. When you have kids, you're gonna feel it. When you're raising them by yourself, you feel them. And I was like, okay, here we go. We about to pull up, and I'll pull up, and she was just start to, And by the time she went into the place, these people were so nice. They was helping me out. They was like, man, he's a single father. I got you. But Whitney would not stop crying. Whitney would cry. Adrian would try to take care of her sister. And she would cry literally. I'm telling you all. And I'm not bullcrapping. Mm-hmm. She would cry from the time I dropped her off until the time I picked her up.
He would call
and say, how she doing? I can still hear her say, you know how they make that? I can still hear this shit. So what happened was that I was like, okay, and I knew I had the author.
Okay, good.
I knew that I had the. I'm gonna give you the phone over there in a minute, okay, Bookie? All right. So I knew I had this certain type of mentality to do other things. So after doing that for like a week, maybe a couple weeks, I said, the hell with this. She never stopped crying. And then that would make Adrian start crying. So I just said, the hell with it. We're going to figure this out. So I just said, that's it. I got y'all. And that became a situation to where they just never left my side. Mm-hmm. I would never leave their side. They would never leave my side. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it was. Mm-hmm. So,
and you had to figure out how to make some money.
I had to figure out how to make money. So therefore, the phone business came about, mm-hmm. and the computer business. And I just started selling. I just started buying low, selling higher. Buying low, selling high. The same things I learned earlier. And that became so successful until I was making, like... so many crazy money, it was pathetic. So same thing happened with it. So it showed me that this is the type of things that I should be doing
For sure.
because I know this best.
For sure.
So with that being said, I just became I just did that until I said, you know what? I always loved music. So I said, let's get this music contract. And nobody else had a music contract.
Was that hard for you though? Was that hard for you switching from television and film to the music industry?
The difference, no. And I'll tell you why. It was really simple and easier for me. Simply because I saw everybody beneath me almost. I'm talking about the people at these companies, at these corporations. We on the same level or you beneath me.
Right.
I'm bringing you something that you gotta have. And I hope that doesn't get me in trouble with all the stuff that I'm doing now, but that's the way I see it. So the other thing I did was I always put myself in the position that they were in. I never saw myself coming to them as a person trying to get a TV show or a record deal or whatever. I said, if I'm in their position and somebody bringing me a deal, how am I going to act with them? So I acted to them the same way I acted as if I'm sitting in their chair.
That mentality, Dad. Who taught you that?
It all come from that first level. When I started doing things from there, everything was like, okay, everybody saw me as the...
You have to understand your value, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be out here acting that way and knowing that you're not bringing anything to the table. You understood your value. Who told you that?
I felt that it was successful for me. Whenever I did things like that, it became successful.
That is
so I
awesome.
never, and also it was like, if I ever, like the trucking job, when I got the trucking job, they said, dude, what are you doing? I never looked at it as a trucking job. I was looking at, this guy owns it, he has 20 trucks. Okay, let me get some trucks here. So I started talking to his people to get his contracts. And they were like, man, you got to get the hell up out of here, dude. You trying to be the owner. And we just want to work this job. And these are career jobs. Career jobs. And and I'm looking at it like, no, why you
can't I?
No, why do you own it? Not me.
For sure. Why can't I?
I can do it the same thing. I just go buy some trucks. Let me get my coins together and I go buy some trucks. Same way I apply for everything else. Everything goes back to what you learned early on that's been successful for you.
sure.
And that's what I carried on through in life.
That is wild.
And that's how I got the
deal with Universal.
Well, with Universal Music Group, I just called them up and I said, okay, look,
like
my buddy Big Daddy Dean, I said, man, passed away, rest in peace, my brother, man. I'm telling you, he was like a brother to me.
Yeah.
But what happened is that I called him up and said, look, man, I want a deal. Here's what I'm gonna give you all. Y'all gonna do this for me. That's how I looked at it. Y'all do this for me, and I'm gonna do this for you.
For sure.
And they saw it as a partnership.
Fair trade.
I never looked at it like, man, can you all give me a deal?
For sure.
And look at my singing. Look at this. The hell with that.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make you money. This is how we're gonna make money together.
For sure.
And the percentages, we can discuss that. And that's how they took it. And I made a couple of records with Mimi. You remember that?
Oh
Mimi?
my
I
goodness.
made a
This
couple
was
of
an era, guys. If you haven't seen Hip Hop Raw and Uncut, where is that? It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime.
Tubi,
Yeah,
Amazon Prime.
it's everywhere. You can find it.
It's still out there.
It's still out there. Hip Hop Raw and Uncut.
I still get checks to this day.
This was an era. I remember it like it was yesterday when Dad was signed to Universal Studios. And I mean, everyone, all of the artists would come over to the house and they'll be practicing and singing and rapping. There was all these different artists. And it was so fun for us because we were just young, like, wow, look at all of this. And Dad, you used to take us to Miami. They used to fly back and forth to Miami and do different shows.
Well, that's a whole nother story because it started with Universal with the record deal, and I got in trouble with that because what happened was that the deal with Stars came after that, but I got in trouble.
But were you still signed with Universal?
No, they basically fired my ass. They basically let me go. I'm gonna tell you what. And I tell y'all what. I tell you what. And this has happened again. I usually step on my own feet sometimes, and I had to learn to stop that. Here's what happened there is that I had my artists. We made the songs, and I said, the radio station, you play these songs, or else we're gonna blow your fucking car up. I swear to God. I did that, and I did the wrong thing. That stuff that I learned early.
Early on, it was.
And so what happened is
spilling
that I had people go up there, man, and they would threaten these people. And the owner, I remember his name, Jay Stevens, at WPGC, he called me and said, Steve, man, let me work with you to show you how this works. As long as the records are played, that's fine. Or else I'm just gonna, we just gonna start blowing up shit. Listen, I'm laughing, but that's the way it was. And then I remember these guys. It's like, man, look, man, we'll just work with the guy, man. We'll work with him. The DJs will do that, man. All right, man, well, here, if y'all want a few $1,000s, but play our music. You playing Jay-Z, you playing all these people. We in Maryland, play my music.
Yeah.
Or else and what happened is that they told Universal Music. Universal Studios said, man, snatch his contract. They called me up first. They called me up and said, they called me up. I swear to God, this happened. I'm totally back. This telling you back now. They called me up and said, Mr. Byrd, do you like having your deal? You have a deal. There's nothing between you and Diddy and P. Diddy's with us.
Yeah.
There's nothing with Cash Money. They with us. They all doing it the proper way. I don't know that way.
Yeah.
I just know if you don't do what I'm saying do,
it's going to be a problem.
it's going to be a freaking problem. So that's stuff that I learned, and it's wrong. It's wrong. I didn't do any. I never did any criminal activity. All right, I was always above board. I never did any criminal activity. I was always above board. So basically, when they said you got to get the hell out of here, just in so many words, they start pulling my contract because it's like, okay, man, I told y'all play the music. Okay, I did it y'all way. Play the music. That's it. And I was always looking at it from their perspective.
For sure.
I put myself in their seat. But I didn't understand. They gave me this big contract at Universal. And I didn't understand the processes of how radio get played. It's a payola system. It's a huge system, even though that's illegal. If they illegal, then I'll be illegal. So basically, I said, nah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to, I'm going to call up Stars. I'm going to call up HBO, Showtime, and Stars. They was the big people at the time. Stars didn't have any hip hop culture with them. So I identified that. People like P. Diddy again was sending them stuff, they would reject it. Other people like Russell Simmons was sending them stuff, they would reject because he had the comedy show called Def Comedy Jam at the time, but he had retired from Def Comedy Jam, and then somebody else, I think it was P. Diddy, went and did another comedy show. Well, over here it was Martin Lawrence with a comedy show that they picked up, and they picked up my show called Hip Hop Raw and Uncut.
Right, on Star.
And they told me, and the way I use the same formula. Hey, look, this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna be partners. We're gonna all make money. And they say, okay, Mr. Byrd, I think we can make this happen. Why? Is because we need the hip hop audience.
For sure.
We didn't have that at the time. They didn't have that at the time. And I was bringing them that. So I talked to them in that way. I don't know why I'm dropping gems on you guys, because now everybody else is going to go out there starting to do this and they're going to mess it up all.
This is good, Dad.
So what happened is that when I'm talking to them, we meeting together. A $1 billion company, we meeting as if, I'm carrying $1 billion. It's like we all going to make money. We're going to do it this way and this way. But in the end, we did Hip Hop Raw and Uncut. It became a huge success. I put everybody on the show. Hip-hop
everybody.
Artists. And the way I did it is because I said, these artists want to perform in the way they produce their records. So let them get out their way.
And I'm talking rawest form.
In hip hop, raw and uncut. So I said, if you bringing girls on stage, if you smoking weed, you doing whatever you do you in this show. And man, the industry went crazy for it. They were the industry before the people. Industry people was like, man, Byrd, what are you doing? This is top of the line.
I
already knew it was gonna get. I already knew it was gonna get canceled.
What I hear is that you've had success, but then you also failed a lot.
Yeah.
But the way you looked at failure was that you kept going until you made your failure successful.
And I never
Is
looked
that
at
how
it as failure.
you never looked at it as
I never looked at it as failure.
getting kicked off of music, Universal Music? That's something big, and I mean, tons of people could have just dropped the ball right there. Like, hey, I give up. I put
It still
so
hasn't
much
been
work.
anybody with a contract with a music company or a television company to this day in this era.
Ever, and he just keeps going.
But I never looked at it as failure. I'm telling you, I don't look at failure. I can't look at failure. Failure is not a part of my DNA, not a part of you all's DNA. And I taught you guys the same thing. I look at it as, okay, well, you know what? I didn't make as much money. I got kicked off, whatever. But guess what? Hell, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Guess what? Y'all just you keep creating this Frankenstein almost.
For sure.
Frankenstein was created by parts.
For sure.
So you keep creating this Frankenstein to where it's becoming a person that's gonna be like, and you unleash that to the world.
Yeah.
So I took it as a learning experience and everything
sure.
I knew, and knew that I could do it. And then that became part of me. That became a part here, and then that part here, and a part here. Until it's like, okay, it builds me up to, I'm about to unleash something big.
Absolutely.
Man. So I never looked at it.
Absolutely. You figured out all of the different avenues. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, if you weren't able to go in one direction, there must be another avenue that I could take to get there, because we're going to get there. You never looked at anything as failure.
What taught me early on with that is that back when we was in St. Louis, like you said about the place, I saw this place where it was called the I forget, like the Clarion Hotel.
Listen to this story.
The Clarion Hotel. And I said, I'd never done this stuff before, right? But I said, you know what? I'm going to rent this place out. Their ballrooms. I'm going to rent this whole place out. I'm going to give them a few $1,000s. I'm going to rent it out. We're going to have a big party. Oh, shit. We're going to have a big party. So I put the ads on the radio. I said, everything that I thought you should do. Got a limousine. I don't know why I would get a limousine. I just thought I was the whatever. But man, I got a limousine. I never do that anymore. I don't even do that. Get one to the party. As I'm on my way to the party, they tell me, my boys call me and say, Byrd. I say, how's it looking down there? Nobody was in the party except for maybe 5 people. This ballroom holds 5,000 people. 5 people.
And what would make him do that?
And I didn't know. I just didn't care. I just
Like,
wanted.
I just wanna
I
do
said,
it.
I saw. Okay, well, if I'm charging everybody $5, $10, $10 at the door, $5 before back then. I said I'm gonna make some good money, and I'm looking for ways to get away from doing the things that I was doing.
For sure.
But at the same time, I had the money, so I would just dump it and be like, let's go out and do this. But nobody was there, so I got there. Nobody was there.
Yes.
I was expecting a line outside the building and everything. But check this out. So what happened is that nobody was in there. So I went in there and I told these people. I walked up to those 5 people. I swear to God, it was 5 people. And I said, look, I'm going to give you money back. Here you go. They said, no, Mr. Byrd. Back then they called him Mr. Byrd. You keep that. No, man, just how we just here. You inspire me. You inspire me, man. Like I said again, and they wanted me to keep their little $10. And I said, you know what? Y'all come out to my next one. I'm gonna figure this shit out. Then another one. Literally, it was like it burning me. The one thing about me is that when I can't let things go as easy as other people can let things go. I'm learning to do that, but if you've done me wrong, I'm going to get back at you no matter what. I'm going to get you. It might not be today, it might be tomorrow, but I'm going to get you. If you've done something to me, I'm going to get you, and it's going to be 4 or 5 times worse than what you think is going to come your way. So what happened is that this was burning in me.
To get it right.
To get it right. So I had another party about 3 months later. But this time I had people out on the street. Like always, I had people on the street selling tickets.
Used the system.
I had one person. I had one person, and I used everybody else to go out, and they found all these people that sell tickets. So there, I knew how many people was coming before we had it. And this time, I used the same place, and it was packed, and all those people was outside the door.
Wow.
It was outside the door. Outside the door.
Wow, Dad.
And that's what made me start understanding how giving parties, like when I used to take y'all down to Miami,
Miami.
and that place had people lined
Packed
outside,
out.
everything, all of that. I just used those methods. If every time I go back to the method that taught me, everything is successful. Every time I get away from it, like put it on the radio and just blast it. No, nobody gonna show up. So put it out there like you're supposed to. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. Hold on, y'all.
And so now at this point, you have 3 daughters. You are living in Maryland. No one really there except your brothers. You're moving and going through life and living your dreams, really pursuing your dreams and living your dreams. How hard was that to be in like this entrepreneurial space with 3 daughters? You know, most people look at security as having a paycheck coming in, you know, on rotation, like clockwork. But it was something that you had to go out and get. How hard was that for you? Or was it more so motivation for you to make it
It was not hard for me at all, simply because I was trained that way. I was trained to do whatever I want to do, how I want to do it, and do it myself. It was, the only thing was finding what I wanted to do. Everything I wanted to do, I was successful at it. Like I got the contracts with Universal S-Stars. I got it, but I stepped on my own feet. I mucked it up, you know.
And so in that moment when you mucked it up, right? And you had us, you know, 3 girls by yourself. What's going through your mind right there?
Nothing. It was the best world. It was the best thing in the world I could have done. Remember this, when Whitney and Adrian came along, when we was in St. Louis, I knew all of the, right, because I was a person who always was by myself. I had a few people around me, and I dated so many people. It was just, it was crazy that way. And people used to say, man, you know, certain people around me was like, man, I've never seen somebody date so many people, hang out with them, not date them. But what happened was is that, but then when y'all came along, me and my friends used to take y'all to the park, place called Forest Park in St. Louis, y'all know. And all the attention would come around you.
Oh, goodness.
All the attention would be like Michael Jackson was in the park. I said, oh, this shit work. So I'm basically using my daughter. I'm not using anything else. Before it was like, okay, he got money, he got this, he does this and all this stuff. But now it's like, whoa, wait a minute. My daughters was getting so much attention. So that's how it started. Okay? They don't tell you that the more you're around your kids, you build a bond. And this is what happens. This should happen with every father in the world. Every mother should do this with the man.
Absolutely.
Just give him the kids and step away. And let him build that damn bond. If he don't build that bond, then he's going to be like a good dad, but he can be a good dad, but he won't get it all the way.
Absolutely.
Once you build that bond, it's like, I don't care what happens in the world. It starts with them. They eat first. They sleep first. Everything in life is first with my daughters. They'd be at the park, and I would put you all up on the car, at the hood of the car, whatever. And even though I had nice cars and stuff, it was nothing. They didn't see a car. They didn't see nothing. They just saw me. Oh my God. Oh, what is this? I'd be like, my daughters, can I do the hair? Sure, you can do the hair. Oh my God.
Hungry too.
They hungry. I'm going to take them with me. Y'all, you got it. You can't take them without taking me. So whatever it is. So and it was so much fun. Back then, Grandma and Papa was involved, so they helped me out a lot. They did most of the work. I'll just take y'all out and be like, you're doing what you're doing. But then when we left and came up here, it was just like, there's nothing more than my daughters. Like, that's it. I built that bond was just us. You know, sometimes we was sleeping in a car. Sometimes we was doing all kinds of stuff. You know, because it was tough. You know, trying to navigate to figure it all out. For sure. But so many people would help us out. But through that, the bond was built to where it's unbreakable now. I knew then it's like, I'm gonna worry for the rest of my life. I'm gonna go through everything that, man, when you single, you don't go through.
Yeah.
When they start walking, are they gonna fall? Anybody want to come over to take them? Nah, that's okay. Just leave my daughters alone.
Yeah.
They can stay at home with their dad. I wouldn't let y'all go to people. They would let women literally will bring their kids to our house.
Yep.
They trusted me 100%.
Love. They used to, oh my goodness, all of my friends.
I raised Mariah, Jessica, and all of them. I go down the list.
Seriously.
And all of them. And it's one of those things to where their parents would just, hey, Steve, that's what they trusted. And everybody know, man, I don't mess around when it comes to my babies.
No,
I will kill 3 times. I will kill 3 people
gosh.
to get to one just to make sure that baby's okay.
Would you say that? Lay on the rail?
I'll lay on the railroad tracks for them. It'd be like this. I told them, and I tell them like this, say, all right, y'all, listen, Dad, y'all gonna be good. But Dad got to lay down right now. And they say, well, why is the train coming?
Oh my goodness! So
hey,
listen, if you ever were in conversation with me, or if you know me in any aspect, that figure it out mentality is not something that I implemented. It's something that I've seen growing up. Right? So being around this type of person, being raised by this type of person in this mentality, there's nothing that you can't figure out. I think everything is possible, and if it's not possible, make it possible. I believe there's a way to do everything. And you know what, Dad, that brings me to this question, because you go from television and film, you go from a Universal Music Group, and now it's like you just won't stop. Now you're in the tech world. Can you please tell the people about what you got going on in the tech? This is I don't even have words for it. Yeah. It's mind blowing.
So here's what happened in the tech world. I saw the world move into technology way back then. My mindset as an inventor see things way before. And when I see it, the thing that I have to do is figure out how to get it done. So back then, as all music was starting to leave the shelves of Walmart and places like that, you know, the record store started closing down. I said, everything is going digital. So what I said was, I'm going to get there before everybody else. I'm going to create this thing called Sightsee and just go live. And I'm going to make it to where people now can create a song, a TV show, or whatever, and they can go live with it. And when they go live, it has a monetized system to it, to where people can buy that product right then while they're live, and the person who's selling the material can watch their account go up like that before they even do it.
I just wanna pause right here, because this is streaming. This is going live before it was even a thing, y'all. I'm sure you can look it up now. You can see when it started. This was created before it was even a thing. Dad created a streaming service and a Just Go Live service
for the PDAs and the phones. Yeah,
that is
and
crazy.
The reason why that was is because I said I wanted artists to be able to buy stuff. We already had Apple Music, Apple Music back then, to where you could buy music through Apple, and then you got to download it to your PDA, your phone, or whatever the thing they had. But I said, no, we don't want people to clog up their phones with it. So back then, Steve Jobs was doing that. Steve Byrd was doing something different. And so what happened was...
You see that.
So what happened is that I said, no, I need something to where it has nothing to do with filming, stopping the film, downloading the material, and then figuring out the exit strategy. Where's the exit strategy? Is it going to go to YouTube, whatever? I said, I need something that's going to deal with it all in one format. So then I said, okay, there's nothing out there. So what I did was I got my developers, I got a bunch of developers, and I interviewed them. And I said, listen, they say there's nothing like this out there. It is a streaming system out there, but it's real big. It's for like the National Football League and stuff like that, but it's not for television.
For sure, for everybody.
It's not for PDAs and phones and stuff like that. It was a big satellite type system, whatever. I said, well, that's what we're going to create. They said, there's no way. I said, you're fired. You can't be with me. Because only people I want here is people who will say, we'll figure it out.
That's a nugget. That's a nugget.
Anybody who tells me they can't do something, you're probably not gonna be around me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you tell me we'll figure it out, then I'm gonna show you. We're gonna walk you through it, and you're gonna use your brain and what you know as far as being an engineer, being a developer
Mm-hmm.
on how to get it done. So basically, I brought in about 7 developers and a couple of engineers, and I built my team, and that was my first. The first milestone is being able to figure out, okay, everything is moving to this area. Okay, we got to figure out a way to do this before in the next 5 years it gets there. So what I did was I got past the first milestone. I had something good that I thought we had, and then I went into it and I built the system, and that was the second milestone. But then in the second milestone, I didn't understand the protection stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that because I'm a black man
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to do this nice,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to blow your car up no more. I'm trying to be nice about everything. And I'm trying to do it the professional way like this, which I didn't do anything that way. I did it all guerrilla style. So I'm trying to do it and I'm mixing it together. So when I did this, I said, well, you know what? These companies out there, these big companies, like Apple and all these companies are going to see it and say, man, that guy is one smart son of a bitch. And they didn't do that. Instead, they stole it. They took it. All these companies out there took it, whatever the case may be. And when they took it, we was at conventions. They saw it. I'm there with, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see all this stuff.
Yeah.
Way before it happened. I'm there in my, doing interviews with, the head of NBC.
Yep.
Right then.
Yep.
Whitney was in the interview as well.
Sure.
And these people
was.
were like, what is this, man? How you go live like this? They so mesmerized that I'm going live at the
Convention.
at the conventions. The Americas, I forget the name of it down
It
in
was in Miami.
It's in Miami, the one in Miami. So I created that and I built it. They didn't come to me and see me as a bright mind. They saw me as, we need to get this. And they took it. So 2 years later, they came out and they built another engine for that and they put it out. And the first people with it was I think it was Twitter. They had it first. And then Facebook came. And then you see live streaming everywhere. But that didn't hold me back. I said, okay,
that's enough to make me hot right there. It's something about stealing ideas that just gets me there. And mind you, we didn't get too much into that part, but this is something that has always been done. My dad created a show called 2012.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
That idea was taken and created by someone who was already in the industry. And so this type of stealing was something that was done throughout your years. Yeah. How did that push you to keep going?
Well, the stealing started back when I did the television show called Born to Fly.
Right.
And I did this show because it was brand new. It was done in a nightclub, and everything was so set up to where it was about these guys in a nightclub and the owner of the nightclub and all this stuff. And it was called Born to Fly. Born to Fly, right here.
And I got it on my back. If you know me, you know.
Born to Fly. So it was done because it was created around the time when Whitney was about to be born. And I said that you born to fly. I was looking at it like that, and I said, all my kids are going to be born to fly, not born to sail, not born to sit on the ground, born to fly. I want you to sail. Your name is Byrd. Take off. And that's where that came from, Born to Fly. So then we finished the sitcom, went straight out to NBC and Fox and all these channels out there in LA, Culver City, California. And I shopped it. And I learned about how people steal things. And a few years later, then they came out with a show called Out All Night. I did 2012, where I was teaching people about racism.
Come on now.
And 2012 was never done in the history of this land. Just like Born to Fly wasn't done. And I reversed the people. White people became black people became white people. And I went back to slavery. And I went back to slavery off the banks of Fort Washington here and used a lot of those locations out there. And I came from slavery to the Jim Crow time to, at that time, it was a pretty good time for us in the 80s and early 90s. right there at the 90s, to 2012. And in 2012, what I did was it ended up in the White House, and I had a chair, the White House chair, and I had the chair to spin around, and I said, and when that chair spun around, it was a black person. It was a black person who was going to be president.
Come on now.
And Obama beat that. This was back in 80s.
Come on.
In late 80s.
Listen.
And 2012, Obama was re-elected as president. He became president in 2008.
Come
so
on.
It beat it 4 years.
Are you serious?
And matter of fact, if y'all just pull it up, you go to the Copyright Office, the scripts and everything is in the Copyright Office right now. They can read the scripts if they want. They sure did. But it was taken. It was taken. Next thing you know, I hired a young lady whose dad was on that show, on the show that was taken from me. And before I knew it, they had a show called with John Travolta and these other people.
Same thing,
White Man's
same
Burden.
concept.
About
same.
2-3 years later, White Man's Burden came out. Or about a year and a half, 2 years later, White Man's Burden came out. And I was like, wait a minute, how did y'all do this, man? And again, people, it was teaching me. As
Absolutely.
I didn't fail.
Absolutely.
It was teaching me.
Absolutely.
And then it came down to...
It was building your Frankenstein.
It was building the Frankenstein. All you do is building me.
Yeah.
When you do that. So now what I did was I came out with the live stream, and then you took it?
Okay.
I'm going to give you that.
Now listen.
I'm going to give you that.
Tell me.
Because my brain got so much stuff in it, and I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared to do what I want to do.
What Bernie Mac say?
Yeah, I ain't scared of mama. I ain't scared of mama. But here's the thing. But I really say that. I'm not scared of it.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of nothing. So what happens for snakes? But here's the thing. So then I said, all right, y'all can have it. I'm not gonna make waves, because if I make waves, they might blacklist me.
For sure.
So I don't want to make waves, and I need to get there. So what I did was I came up with my system, Site C, Just Go Live. Just Go Live was inside of Site C. Site C was a site to see. So I spelled it SYTECEE.
You got it.
And instead of spelling it, like the regular site, SITE, whatever the case may be, I spelled it that way. And then I put Just Go Live in there to where you could just go live in 2 seconds. Sell your material to the public. So when they took it, I said, that's fine.
Okay.
Now what I'm going to do, it evolved to now what you have is back in about 10 years ago, I saw that the world was transitioning into voice.
So Daddy, tell me what you have going right now. And with what you've learned from people taking your things, what have you learned and implemented in what you have going on right now? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
And what you've done, what you've put into place so no one can take your stuff ever again?
Oh no, it's foots and ass. If I gotta put a hind all this talk came from Hampton, Virginia. We say we put hinds. Do you want one hind or you want 2 hinds? You see what I'm saying? What's our mind? We created that back then. Before, what's the guy that said, what up, mind? What's up, mind? He said that the light-skinned dude, the actor. He be saying,
you talking about Terrence Howard?
Terrence Howard. Well, way before Terrence Howard, we was doing that. That's how we do it. Shouty, what's up, mind? And if you want, I can put 1 eye, or I can put 2 eyes. Would you like 2 eyes? So that's where all that came from. So I just a little footnote. So what happened was, if they fuck up now, I put eyes on. So I know my Uncle Wood is gonna laugh because they came up this years ago. So decades ago. So basically, what happened was that as they building the Frankenstein, and you basically putting another quarter in my back and saying, you know what? Because you have that, you all are losing out because it's so much more to me than that. I know Mark Zuckerberg is what y'all want. I know Steve Jobs and the other people is what you all want. But if you come to me, I know I don't look the part. Sometimes I don't even act the part, even though I'm a chameleon. I can change multiple ways. What happens is that the bottom line is that what I have in here
Absolutely.
and what I have in this chest area
Absolutely.
will take you anywhere. So basically what happened is that I saw voice moving. I saw these little devices. Amazon was starting to get ready to put these little devices out where you could speak into it. You could ask it what you want. But it was so generic. You could ask it for the weather. One conversation, that's it. No conversation, just that's it. All right. Hey, give me the weather, give me the time, give me this, whatever. So what happened is I said, well, you know what? When the burst for online came along, it was a system that monetized that because companies like Facebook and Facebook and Google was corralling all these people into their system. Millions, if not billions of people into their system, but they didn't monetize them. So then they bought this company called DoubleClick, and DoubleClick came in and their system was able to monetize their online marketing and advertising. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to now build the system.
Right.
Nothing like that. That's going to monetize all voice assistants. This years ago. But this time, I've never got to what you call the fifth milestone. And this is very, very important.
What's the fifth milestone?
All right. The first milestone, let me go through it. First milestone is that you got the barriers to entry to something that's going to fit the world. It's going to work. The world's going to need. The second milestone, you put together your team and you put together your developer, your engineers, and you build it. We got past that. We built it. It's called voicing. That's built. The third milestone is you got to protect it. So what happened is that I started this time. I spent over $100,000 just on patent, but I was going back and forth with these patent people. They would send out things and I would have to answer. Attorneys would have to answer until finally, literally a few months ago in June 30th, the World Patent Office said, guess what? All of your 10 claims are patentable.
This is wow.
Which they didn't say one. One was like the spark plug to an engine. What they said was all 10. That's the engine.
For sure.
So they gave me what you call a toll booth patent. That means that some bitch gonna have to go through it.
That's crazy.
And what I did was I said, okay, I'm gonna take it a step further. And I started going out and precisely putting the patents on all of the specific things within my engine. That's why now what happens is that I said my job is to just protect this at all costs. If I got to spend $3 million, I'll spend it, but I'm putting them hinds on it
sure.
if you try to take it. So then what happened is that the fourth milestone is to build your professional team, something that I didn't used to do. I had to build a company like, your attorneys, your business affairs, all the things that you need.
Nice.
And then we at the last milestone, which is right now, is being sold as we speak. And that's the fifth milestone.
That is crazy, Dad. That is literally crazy.
So I got him. So guess what? I never took a loss.
Never took
learned until now they are looking to, I'll let you all know how much the deal is worth.
No, seriously. It actually made you better, Dad.
It made me better.
It made you better.
So I never look at failure. I never look at did I fail? Never. In no particular way. I can't look at failure. It's the wrong system for me. It's like, oh, I got something out of that. I gotta learn to where I'm taking steps. I can go here and go here, but I can never go here and go here. I can't go downwards. I gotta go here. I gotta learn, and I can go here and then start going back up again. But it always has to be, I'm learning something or I'm getting something for it. So if you made some money off me and I learned from it, cool. You might have taken some money from it, which people in the past took money from me.
Yeah.
So what I did was I stopped loaning money. And now I give money. If I give you what I'm gonna give you, you're gonna run and hide from me.
For sure.
Because you're like, damn, shit.
For sure.
Byrd, damn.
You
So
never put
that's what happened when I started loaning money. People would hide, and it's like, dude, your friendship, your coolness was
good,
but they would hide because they felt like they owed me money.
For sure.
So what I did was I started giving it away, so therefore you wouldn't go and hide. But if I want to get rid of somebody, I loan them my damn some money. Look,
Listen, I am always intrigued. I'm always learning from you, Dad. This has been like the most amazing interview, and I really think that this is going to be a legendary type of interview, only because I think your mind just keeps expanding, and just to have like a time post is it means a lot to me. But I have one question. I have one question. If you had to give yourself, your little self, one piece of advice, and this is, it's gonna kind of break down in two, but if you had to give your little self one piece of advice, what would that be? Now, if you were looking back at little Steve.
If I was looking at me as a little person, I would say, do it your way. And don't stop. Do it your way. If you want to do the same thing I teach you all, if you want to do it, just do it your way. Because it's you that's going to be different.
For sure.
In other words, if you start doing things like everybody else, because it's more like a cattle call,
for sure,
then you're going to look like that. But I call these people different people. There's, you know, certain people out there, especially, well, they special because they did it their way. Nothing stepped in their way to say, I'm going to not do something. So they became special because they did it their way.
For sure.
So that's what I would tell you all. Well, I've always told y'all this. If you believe it, if you see it and you believe it, do it.
The need is for you and your authenticity. The need is for you and your authenticity. Something that you always say too is one of the things that he always tells us. In the midst of all difficulties, there lies your opportunity. Listen.
And never talk about somebody.
Never.
To their face.
Yeah.
I learned that lesson early, but I'm going to tell y'all that on the next one of Whitney's episode. It's a lesson I taught them, and I'm telling you I learned it, and it still haunts me to this day.
What's a piece of advice that you would give to us and your grandkids now?
Well, again, it goes down that same thing. We did it our way. We didn't do it nobody else. We did it our way. We are who we are because of who we are. And we're going to always do it our way. Period.
I love that.
And nothing I shouldn't say period. Nothing can stand in your way. If you want to do it, do it. Do it. The hell is in your way? Nothing. I didn't start looking at somebody else do something and then created my page from them. I might take some inspiration.
For sure.
But whatever I want to do, I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Nothing stands in my way. Nothing.
I love that. A limitless mentality. Listen, guys, if you don't know, now you know.
But I'm a puppy dog. I'm always not a puppy dog.
Listen, I love you.
No.
But Jesus loves you more.
There you go.
See about him first. And I will talk to you later.
And I love my daddy. Your daddy love you so
Have
much.
a good day, guys. Thanks, Daddy.
Whitney.